So every photographer has that photo that they've always dreamed of taking. Even if thousands of people have already taken the same photo or done the same thing, it doesn't really matter until you get to go experience whatever that may be yourself and capture something that's yours. And that photo for me is Yosemite Firefalls. Every year for a couple weeks in February at Yosemite National Park, when the conditions are just right, the sun lights up this waterfall called Horsetail Falls and makes it appear like it's glowing bright orange. And last week I was lucky enough to finally take a trip out to Yosemite National Park in wintertime to try to capture this event myself. On day one, it was pouring rain, so we didn't even attempt to go into the park at all. We just stayed at our stay and got up early the next morning to go see the fresh snowfall in Yosemite. I've always seen so many photos and videos online of Yosemite in the wintertime, and it looks absolutely incredible, but when you're there in person, it really does take your breath away. As the day progressed, the sun started coming out and melting all the snow, so we decided to take our chances at seeing firefalls and hike to the top of a mountain. So it was just sunny a few minutes ago. Now we got these clouds rolling in, completely ruining the view. Yeah, hopefully they clear up, because right now you can't even see Horsetail Falls at all. Even though I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to see it tonight anyway, I figured we've come this far, might as well scout out a nice viewpoint for tomorrow, because tomorrow's supposed to be a little bit more sunny. So maybe we'll get lucky then, and at least we'll know exactly where to go and how to get there. When we were almost to the top, it started downpouring, raining on us, which wasn't the most fun thing in the world. It was only like 30-something degrees out, so it wasn't terribly cold, but once you started getting rained on, it felt a lot colder. We waited around for 30 minutes or so under a tree, which didn't help too much, but was better than nothing. And actually, it didn't look like the rain was going anywhere anytime soon, so we decided to start hiking back down the trail. And once we started making our way back down the trail, the rain cleared up and the sun started to poke out for a sec. So we turned around as fast as we could and started sprinting up this mountain to get to the viewpoint. And even though it was unfortunately still too cloudy to see firefalls, it ended up being one of the most beautiful sights I think I've ever seen in my life. There was this thick layer of fog covering the entire valley floor. It was just one of those sights that not many people get to experience. Well, this is it. My last chance to see firefalls. This is day 3. So far it's been pretty sunny all day, although there are quite a few clouds starting to come in right now. I'm crossing my fingers because this really is the last chance I get here. Unfortunately, tomorrow is the weekend, which you need reservations just to get into the park, which we don't have. So we can't even stay another day, even if we wanted to. Plus, there's a lot of other projects and deadlines that I have to get back to. So this really is the last chance. Hopefully, the third time is the charm. And yeah, cross our fingers that she lights up today. We'll see though. We'll see. The weather was stressing me out as we made our way back up the mountain. It was cloudy one minute, the next the sun started peeking out and there would be a little hope, and then the clouds would roll back in and then they would roll out. By the time we made it to the top, there were only a few clouds left in the sky, and it was pretty safe to assume that we were about to experience Yosemite Firefalls. Every single minute as the sun kept getting lower and lower, it kept lighting up the waterfall brighter and brighter until eventually it turned to a bright orange color and looked like lava flowing off the cliff. Once Firefalls really got going, it was almost impossible to look up from the camera. We're just taking so many photos, a wide one, an underexposed shot, switch lenses, put on a zoom lens, switch cameras, take off the R5, throw on the C70. I am really glad though that I took 30 seconds, maybe a minute, to just stand there and take it all in and not worry about the cameras or the video at all. It's definitely very easy to get consumed in not wasting a second and capturing every last bit of content you possibly can, but you also need to take it in for yourself as well. It was a pretty surreal feeling just being there in person and witnessing it and photographing it. I even printed one of my favorite photos of Firefalls on my wall to remind me of this incredible trip and just the entire journey. So there's a few key things that I've learned from this whole experience that I think we can all relate to. The first is to always see things through. There was really no reason for me to leave early on the second day as we were standing there in the rain. I should have just stayed up at the top, and even though we still turned back around and went back up the mountain, I still just don't want to have that mindset of giving up when you're so close. I had no idea how beautiful the valley was, just full of fog, and that was something that I couldn't have planned for. And even though we didn't get to see firefalls that night, we arguably got to see a view that was even more beautiful. Some of my favorite photos from that entire trip were actually taken that day in the rain. And I would have never got any of those photos nor got to experience that myself if I would have continued walking back down the mountain. Granted, we were freezing in the rain, but still, we were in Yosemite National Park in the winter. Sometimes you just gotta embrace the elements and just push through. And that's something that I wanna do a lot more of moving forward. And one more thing before we go is just seeing things in person. I think social media kind of has this way of sucking the life out of things and making you feel like, oh, everyone's already done that anyway, what's the point? Everyone's already taken the same photo. And I don't think we realize how important and impactful these experiences can have in our lives. There's just something so different about being somewhere in person, away from the screens, and experiencing it in real life. So I encourage everyone, including myself, to go see everything in person and not just experience things through a phone. After all, one of my favorite parts about being a photographer is just the excuse it gives me to go and do all these crazy fun adventures in the first place. Because just like how seeing Yosemite National Park in the wintertime was a bucket list item for me, I don't think I would have ever got around to making a trip in the winter like that if it wasn't for photography. I feel very blessed that I can do photography and videography as a career because it pushes me to do so many things that I want to do, but I wouldn't prioritize very much to just do for myself. And it makes me realize how much fulfillment and joy I get out of doing these experiences. So yeah, get out there, experience something new, and start checking those items off your bucket list. Your future self will thank you. Those are just my thoughts. Hopefully you're able to take something from it and enjoy that story. Make sure to come back next week as we're gonna do our brand new studio tour, my basement studio. Yeah, that's all for this one. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.